welcome to A Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and it is weekly wrap-up time and I've got a lot to talk about. But before I get to what I read and what I'm reading, a couple housekeeping things. First of all, if you saw my short earlier this week, you know it wasn't a horrible issue, but it was just weird with bookshop.org where I had ordered some books because I had gotten my certificate for finishing their summer reading program, so I put in an order. And I got the order back, but in duplicate. Like I got 2 copies of everything except one book that I got 3 copies of. I don't know. So of course, first thing I did was like, oh my gosh, did I mess up and order multiple copies? And I had not. And I had not been charged for them. So I asked them, I wrote them and I said, hey, this happened. If I'm happy to send them back to you if you send me a prepaid postage thing, because postage, I don't know if you're aware of this, but postage is expensive these days. They got back to me and they said, oh, we're not sure. We know what happened. Someone accidentally submitted your order twice. I still don't know why I got 3 copies of one book, but it was completely our fault. We're going to try and figure out how this happened. But in the meantime, we can't send you a postage paid label to send them back. So just take them to Little Free Libraries. So I thought that was very sweet. So my daughter and I will be doing Little Free Library runs today and dropping off all but one of the books. One of the books I don't think I should have gotten yet because it's actually not released until September 5th. So I'm going to be holding on to that book and then I'll take it to Little Free Library after its publication date. But the rest of them are going to be scattered around town for that. Secondly, if you follow my community page, I have been doing lit chat questions, 1 card for twice a week usually. I'm going through and I'm pre-scheduling those till I do the whole deck. It's a lot of fun, lots of great discussion on silly things. So if you're interested, go to my community tab and you can see it there. And if you don't know how to get to my community tab, it's a little different on different devices. So sort of I'm going to say the easiest way, it's not the easiest way to explain, but probably not the easiest way to actually do it, is to go to my profile and then where it has like all the different videos, playlists, blah, blah, blah. If you go down towards the end, there's community. If you click on that, you'll see my community tab. I do know if you read it on your phone, you can just go over and do posts at the end. As I said, the easiest way to explain it is just to go to my profile, but it's there. Anyway, I'll save the rest that I have until after the books. So I had another strong reading week in the number of books I've read, but let me tell you, the quality was really up and down. So I read 5 books. The first one was Western Lane by Chetna Maroo. This is the first of the Booker Prize, so far the only, one of the Booker Prize long list books that I have read. And I gave this one a C. The writing is beautiful. I just wanted more. I was like, something needs nothing. There is a case of failure to launch is probably the best way to put it. I kind of felt like something needed to go with this book. And I'm fine with like vignette-like stories or stories, slice of life stories, but this was set up like it should have had something more and it didn't. So I didn't really like it. Although I did like the writing enough that I would read future books by Chetna Maroo. Then I finished on audio. It was my last book for Book Bingo, the World Racist Stories, the World Record Book of Racist Stories by Amber Ruffin and Lacey Lamar. So it's pretty much the same setup as their first book, which was you'd never believe what happened to Lacey, which were stories of that Lacey experienced in her life as an African-American woman in Omaha, Nebraska. This is the same kind of setup, except they go and they talk to, stories from family members and friends. So it's more stories. It's very funny, but there's still some like jaw-dropping and a little terrifying stories in there. Definitely, if you like the first one, do this one. I will say start with the first one because generally, I think if you had to weigh them against each other, the first one's a little bit better. The stories are just a little bit better in there. I don't think they plan to do a second book. So they use their A+ stories for the first book, but the second book is still really good. And then the next book I read was called Imperfect Lives by C.J. Washington. This is a NetGalley book and it's another one that's coming out on September 5th. So I will give you my full thoughts then. I will just say it was a C book for me. Yeah. You'll have to tune in on the 4th of September to see what I thought of it. I'm going to do like a mishmash video of the NetGalley books that I read that released on September 5th will come out on September 4th. And then I have to the highlights of my week. The first one was my Alice Hoffman book, The Invisible Hour. This book, first of all, this book was written for me, as far as I can tell. This book she wrote it for me. It's just wonderful for me. I'm going to do a full video review of this. So I'm not going to talk at length about it, but I will say this because I do think this is really important. If you have never read Alice Hoffman and you want to read Alice Hoffman, this is not the book to start with. I'm not saying it's a bad book. I'm saying don't start with this book. She's written a lot of books. Choose another one. This one has some prerequisites for reading. And yeah, so not an on-ramp book, but I still really loved it. I gave it an A. And there's a reason why I didn't give it an A+. Mostly it was because of the thing that it's because of what it is. There's kind of a limited audience, even though I am very much in that audience. And then last night, for only the third time this year, I finished a 5-star book. Oh my gosh. I finished The Postcard by Berest. I'm like, I'm going to do a full video of that one too. But oh man, that book was fantastic. Oh wow. Like I finished, I was just like, oh, when I finished the book. And not even that the end was shocking. It wasn't like I was so shocked by the end because it wasn't a shocking ending. It was just like a cathartic, because it brought up so many different things to think about and dealt with so many emotions, and it was so beautiful. And the fact that I'm saying this about a World War II novel, which I am one of those people who's kind of over the World War II novel. Well, I shouldn't say that. I tend not to like World War II novels for reasons. This book doesn't have any of those reasons. But oh man, this book was fantastic. So I will do a full video review of that, and that's going to bring me up for something. Next week, I'm doing more videos than I normally do. Usually I do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I'm going to do more than that because I want to post both my reviews. I mean, I'm going to do them separately. My reviews of The Invisible Hour and The Postcard, because we're coming up on the beginning of the next month. So there's lots of like end of month, beginning of month stuff that I have to do. So it's either post those reviews now or wait a long time to post them. So and I already have something ready for Thursday and something ready for Tuesday. So it's all going to have to fit in. But yeah, so expect to see more of me next week. Okay. So now on to what I am currently reading. So I have 5 books going, which is kind of a good steady spot for me right now. The first one I have is The Three Dahlias by Katy Watson. There we go. I got this a while ago, like a year ago. I had ordered it. I had heard about it and I ordered it from Blackwell's because I do not believe it's available in the United States, or at least it wasn't at the time. But it looked interesting and I got it. And then it went into my TBR basket. And my rule with my TBR basket is if it's there, it can only stay there for a year. And after that, it goes back on the shelves. I'm not so cutthroat that I unhaul them. I just put them back on the shelves to go back into the drawer. This has to be read this month or it goes back on the shelves, which is why I picked this one up instead of the Agatha Christie that I had planned. Because the Agatha Christie one, if I don't finish in August, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And then the second print book I am still reading, although I will be finishing it this week. Next Saturday is my book club, and it looks like I'm probably going to finish this on Thursday, probably Thursday or Friday. But that's Daughters of the Flower Fragrant Garden. 2 sisters separated by China's Civil War. This is nonfiction. It's a biography. The author's 2 of her aunts. It's really interesting. It's not, I mean, it's very clearly a biography that's very well researched and written by someone who, she's a professor of linguistics, Chinese linguistics, of East Asian studies, excuse me. She's a professor. She's not a writer, so it's not like super, I don't really like this word to describe it, but I can't think of a better word, literary, but it's clear, it's easy to read, and it's really interesting. So I'm looking forward to finishing this one and discussing it with my library book club on Saturday. And then I have 2 ebooks going. The first one is number 13 in the Ruth Galloway series, no, it's not the Lantern Men, it's the Nighthawks. I already read the Lantern Men. The Nighthawks. I needed something, I mean, I was looking forward to reading this anyway, but I kind of needed a palate cleanser after The Postcard because that was such cathartic book and emotional, and my mind is still racing for it. So I needed kind of a known quality book. And so I'm like, I'm going to go see my friend Ruth. So The Lantern Men by Elly Griffiths, number 13 in the Ruth Galloway series. Only 2 more books after this, and then I'm done with Ruth for now. And then I have another one of my September 5th net galleys. This one is called Reykjavík. It is by 2 Icelandic people, Ragnar Jónasson and Ragnar Jónasson, and I didn't get their titles. I'm sorry, Kristen something daughter. I'm sorry, I should have got their names. It'll be down below in the description box. I'm not that far into it. It's a Swedish thriller. It's dedicated to Agatha Christie. This is not a complaint about the book. This is I wish I were reading this in print sort of thing. There are a lot of characters, and they do a great job of giving you a list of all the characters at the beginning of the book. But because this is a NetGalley e-arc, I'm reading it on my Kindle, and it makes it hard to go back and do it. So not a fault of the book, just I wish I were reading it in print kind of thing. But yeah, so far so good with that one. I can't really say that much more about it. And then I have one audiobook going, and it's the same audiobook I think that everybody has going. I mean, everyone I know is listening to this audiobook. And that is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, narrated by Meryl Streep. I'm going to probably shock you all to your core, but Meryl Streep's kind of good at this narrating thing. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm pretty much listening to one chapter a day, which is fine. It's perfect amount. So it's going to take me a little while to get through it, but I'm okay. I'm enjoying it. And I know every once in a while I'll see someone who doesn't like Meryl Streep, but I think most people really like Meryl Streep, myself included, narrating this. I think she does a really good job with it. So that's my week. It's going to be a hot one today. I'm going to have to turn my computer off for having another peak time. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's when my daughter and I will go do our little free library sprinkling, but I don't want to do it that time of day because it's going to be lots of traffic. So we'll probably do it this morning, but we'll see. Anyway, so next week you will see more of me because I have things to say. I'm actually going to film them like right now. So I'll be wearing the same top. I'll look just like this. I'm sorry. I just am not going to go change clothes for this. So there you go. Anyway, if you made it through this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.